Welcome to an examination of employment and potential effects on academic success by Teddy Papp. The goal of this survey is to gather, analyze, and evaluate the potential effects that outside employment has on the academic performance of undergraduate students in Boise State's health studies and public health disciplines. The source population for the survey is composed of students who are enrolled in Health 382, Research Methods in Health, during the spring 2019 semester at Boise State University. Today's academic climate calls for many students to seek employment during their time enrolled in higher education. It is estimated that over 80% of undergraduate students work while in school. Whether it be the cost of living or the cost of school itself, there is an ever-increasing number of undergraduates who seek work. With so many students employed during their time as undergraduates, it poses a question worth asking. Is this affecting their grades? Similarly, in another study, it was found that the number of hours worked was a direct indicator for academic performance. Following a different approach, it is the aim of this survey to gather information regarding the work habits and academic performance of students enrolled in Boise State's health science and public health disciplines. The method of collecting this research consisted of an observational survey administered via Qualtrics. The population being studied were 42 students enrolled in Health 382 online spring 2019. The survey was administered via an anonymous link to Qualtrics that was accessible from the course Blackboard webpage. Participants first selected the option of I consent before being allowed to partake in the survey in order to comply with ethical outlines. A very important measure of academic success is grade point average. Here, the student's GPA is compared to the number of hours worked on a weekly basis. As the chart indicates, the number of students who are employed the fewest hours each week show the highest number in terms of individuals with a GPA of 3.5 or higher. Conversely, those who are employed more hours have the lowest number of individuals with a GPA of 3.5 or higher, and also have the greatest number of individuals in the lowest GPA bracket. This figure shows a cross-tabulation of the various responses for being employed is necessary for me to attend school, and the options available for students to select for their GPA. What is important to note here is that students who selected agree or strongly agree represent the highest portion of students at 27 of the 42 total, and are also the students who occupy the highest portion of the GPA bracket. The first chart indicates that 86% of students surveyed are currently employed while attending school, leaving 14% currently unemployed. The bottom chart shows the GPA measurements for the participants ranging from 50% with 3.5 or higher, 43% fall into the 2.5 to 3.4 category, with 7% occupying the 1.5 to 2.4 category. The pie chart on the left indicates the number of hours participants reported spending on their homework each week. The majority found themselves devoting 1 to 9 hours each week doing homework, with a smaller amount reporting 10 to 19 hours, and a few spending more than 20 hours each week. This moves us to the top chart on the right, which reports roughly 2/3 of participants being full-time students and 1/3 being part-time students. The cross-tabulation on the bottom right shows a comparison between the hours spent on homework and the enrollment status of participants. As we can see, more full-time students find themselves spending more time on homework each week compared to those who are part-time students. A very essential finding from the survey was a large percentage of students who participated in the survey who were employed at 86%. Of those students, roughly 2/3 are enrolled as full-time students. When looking at GPA as the prime indicator of academic success, there is a correlation between working more hours and having a lower GPA. Using this as a measure, employment has negative effects on student academic success. Another finding is that students who are enrolled full-time spend more time doing homework on a weekly basis. More time required for homework means less time available to work or be employed. However, going to school full-time could require students to work more hours in order to cover the cost of tuition and required school materials. While this conclusion might not hold true for all students, it is an area that deserves attention and further research. If the demand for employment while attending school remains as high as it is, or even increases, this could have serious implications for future students who seek higher forms of education. The need for employment, coupled with ever-increasing tuition and cost of living rates, is a recipe for potential academic failure for those pursuing higher education.